afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Girl Talk with Kaylin, where we talk about faith, fashion, and millennial women on the rise. I'm your host, Kaylin Ann, and I just want to give a special thanks to Kevin Adele and the Word Network for allowing millennial women to be here on the Word Network. So today we have some amazing people here, some amazing guests, and we're going to be talking about Faith for Flint. We have Shay Oliver and Katrina Tillman, guys. Can you guys just introduce yourselves?
Sure. Like you said, my name is Shatarian Oliver. I go by Shay. I am a wife, a mother, a fashion designer, and entrepreneur.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Katrina Tillman. I am First Lady Tillman of First Trinity Missionary Baptist Church in Flint, Michigan.
Come on, Baptist.
Yes. And I am a wife. I'm a mom of 4 beautiful boys. I'm an author. I just wear many hats.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're gonna dive right into this. This is a really important topic that I definitely feel like we should discuss. So how has this water crisis in Flint, Michigan impacted your family and your community?
Well, for me personally, our family lives outside of Flint, right outside of Flint in Grand Blanc. But however, my husband is the pastor of First Trinity, which is located downtown Flint. So many of our members at the church have been affected by this ongoing water crisis in Flint. But we're doing what we can to bring some relief to the people, to bring hope to people. And as I like to say, in a crisis, you can still see Christ.
Awesome. That's good.
I like to say that our family has been impacted in a different way. My husband, he's a community leader, so he's on the front lines trying to make sure that the Flint natives are getting the resources that they need. And with that, it also comes, he's spending a lot of time at work, which takes away from family time. So, you know, we have 3 little girls, 7, 4, and 9 months. So, of course, they're asking, you know, when's Daddy coming home? And they know that he's at meetings. So it's impacted us in that way, but also just in being in a community, I have seen that, you know, working with different children, you know, the impact on their lives.
So since your husbands are in the community, do you guys feel more compelled to want to help those in the city?
I would say absolutely. I mean, it's for us, that's the job of the church, right? To show Christ in situations like this. And so we do what we can. We have been privileged enough to be one of the few places within the city that has been continuing giving out water for the last 2 years, on a consistent basis every week. And it's been by way of other churches from all across the country have been collaborating and giving us donations for water. So we've been able to consistently bring some relief, not all. I mean, there's health issues that are still on the rise, but we do what we can to bring some relief.
Right. What about you, Shay?
Well, for me, I think it's almost expected for us to be a help in some way. Not necessarily in, you know, passing out water, but just letting people know the different resources that are available because, you know, the water crisis, it has a long-term effect.
Right.
So just letting them know that there are programs out there that they can enroll their children in to help them with those long-term issues.
That's good. That's really good. What type of resources are there for the community?
There are a number of programs. There's a program where kids can receive books, I believe, once a month, and they have to be, I think, from like 3 years up. So those type of programs. There's a healthy food initiative to let parents know which type foods help to mitigate the lead levels in the blood system.
That's good. That's good. That's really good. So what struggles or challenges have you and your community have been facing with the closing of the water pods? Because I know, Katrina, you said that you are a resource, your church is a resource to pass out water. And so with all of the pods closing, and I mean, aren't you guys still?
Yes, we're open right now.
Right, okay. So yeah, like how does that impact your family, your church, the community?
It has affected our church tremendously because with the pods closing, there's not too many different locations that people can go to get water. So there's grassroots locations such as the church. And so here it is, where there were, 5 or 6 pods open, now they're closed. And so now we're in a position where we're trying to give water to a complete city. And so it has really affected us. But again, thank God for the donations that are continuing to come in to help us provide that relief. On a personal note for my family, again, as Shay said, it's, dad is away. So, us as wives and moms, we have to hold it down on the home front to make sure that, homework and things is done because dad is out there doing what he is called to do to bring some relief to the city at large.
And then also too, just making sure that he's okay, because I mean he's working those long
That's right.
hours, so
Yeah.
making sure that he's taking care of him when he's coming home, he's tired, he's exhausted, making sure that he's all right and able to function so that he can
Go back out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. And so being community wives, how has that, I know you guys said that's impacted your families, but like, I know you were saying, Shay, that, your daughters are asking, hey mom, when's daddy's coming home? And do you feel kind of like, well, I don't want to give him, I want to kind of keep him to myself. I want, that time, that quality time. How has that really affected you guys as far as a family? And has it?
I can say personally for us, I mean, it has, it's been a strain because you do want that quality time. He's working long hours, and so a lot of the responsibilities of the household, they fall on you when it comes to taking care of the children. And so it's really just, understanding that it's for the greater good and just accepting that role and just kind of pushing through.
We've actually incorporated our children into some of the relief for our water station. When the kids get out of school, if there's a 18-wheeler that needs to get unloaded, although our kids are 9 to 9 months. Of course, my 9-month-old can't do anything. But it's important for us, for my husband and I, for our children to see what daddy does. And so it's not just daddy is gone or he's out the house, but you see the relief that he's bringing to the community at large. And so we may have, our 5-year-old out there passing out a bottle of water. And so he's involved.
They're
involved. And it's important for us that they understand that act of service at a young age. Yeah.
And what is the act of service?
The act of service is honestly just this little light of mine. I'm going to let it shine. Going back to Sunday school, But it's really just allowing your light to shine, because like I always say, people may not read the Bible, but they will read you.
Yes.
And so if they're able to see some inkling of Christ within you, then you are being that light to be able to give them that path for them to follow. So it's important that, as moms, that we show our children the act of service, even at a time like this where a city is in a water crisis.
And so how can people in general help advocate for certain crises that happen? And I know you guys are in the community, so what are some ways that you can do something? If it's not even passing out water, what can you do, Shay? What can you instill in your daughters to, okay, well, this happened and something may happen 10 years from now. So how can you prepare your children for that?
I think just like Katrina said, it's really just instilling that in them now, making them active in the process and just letting them know that, it's important to be able to give back to the community,
of course,
and be active.
Yeah, I think, again, it's being present, it's being knowledgeable,
yes,
and it's being sensitive because when you go to Flint and you pass out water and you hear some of the stories that people have been through. I remember last year, our church, we had a Showers for Flint, where a lady donated her trailer that had 3 showers in it.
Wow.
And a guy donated an 18-wheeler of water, like the water trucks. And so he hooked his water truck to her trailer, and people were able to come and get showers. But it is the stories that you hear, how people are affected, the hair falling out, the skin rashes. Everyone saw the little baby on the Times magazine with the rashes. That is real today. That is still prevalent. And then when you think about the school systems, the effect that it has had on the children within the schools, millennials, we are affected, and right in Flint, there's University of Michigan Flint. You know, it's a college town, and so kids are affected, millennials are affected, senior citizens are affected. Everyone has been affected by this.
And you touch on something really dear to my heart, because I am a millennial. We all millennials,
Yes.
right? And so I know sometimes I'm not taken seriously because I am young, and having a voice in different political, aspects and situations. How do you manage to, not get angry, not get frustrated because you're not being heard? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can someone who's being overlooked in certain cases to have a voice and to make sure that they're still doing something in the community?
Anger is good. It's okay to be angry, but then
It's
the
not
question
sin.
becomes, that's right.
Yes.
But then the question becomes, what do you do with the anger?
Exactly.
So are you just going to be angry and just get on Facebook or Snapchat and just talk about it? Or are you going to get angry and do something about it? Are you going to gather your other millennial friends and, hey, let's go support this initiative or this church that's passing out water. Let's go help pass out water. So we have to take our anger and actually move it into an actionable plan. And I think my husband is a millennial. He's Pastor Tillman. He's 37 years old, and so he's on the inverse of being a millennial. But he's been all across the country using his voice and his platform to make sure that people know that there's still a need in Flint. So as millennials, sometimes we do get overlooked, and we do have the passion, we do have the fire, but we have to take that and turn it into action. Actually strategically plan out plan your work and work your plan.
That's good. That's
and
really
I think
good.
to add to the anger, we have to be persistent as well, because sometimes, like you said, when you feel like you aren't getting heard, it's easy to want to give up, but I believe that persistence is what's going to get us there and actually holding people accountable for their actions.
That's really good.
And when you think about it, both of our husbands are young, and they're both on the front line of this. And so it just goes to show you that, age is nothing. I think Aaliyah said, age is nothing but a number. It's nothing but a number. Age doesn't permit maturity. Wisdom does.
Yes.
And so if you're wise in a time like this and you're being led by God, then you're able to, strategically bring results.
And I know as millennials, we're seen to be as radical individuals, right?
Yes.
I could say I could be radical,
Okay.
Yeah, I can be very, and get fired up in a second when it comes to something that I'm passionate about.
Right.
And so how do we put that in the right place, though? Because sometimes we can, as millennials, we can get to, getting radical and being compassionate and having just that being strong-headed and strong-minded for something that isn't really important.
Yeah.
I think it's really just having a plan. So going from passion to plan, making sure that you can have a strategy so that you can execute, so that you can, fulfill whatever that need is.
Yeah, I am a strong believer in planning. I mean, Shay hit the nail on the head. You have to plan because your mind will go in so many different directions, and then you'll find yourself doing a little bit of everything and not being effective at nothing. And so it's important to plan, write the vision down and make it plain.
Yes. I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah.
How can Christians in this time, how can we be seen as, okay, well, we want to obviously do God's work, right? We want to make sure that we're being seen in the best of light. But sometimes it's hard to just be like quiet and making sure, be like Jesus, like just, he was just the deal. And it's so hard to compare yourself to Christ because like you want to be, as me, as a young Christian, I definitely want to take a stand. When I see different people going through certain things and situations, I definitely want to be an advocate for them. But I tend to miss that passion and misplace that passion to something else. And I'm not being seen as, okay, Kaylin, you're actually taking this seriously, actually being heard in the right light. And I know with you guys have husbands who are young and who are making a change. And so what can you see from looking back or looking at them to see what are they doing in that aspect?
I would say that for me, my husband is very focused. He knows what his calling is. He knows what his purpose is. In fact, a personal story, when we were dating, he told me, this is my calling. You're an option.
Oh, so he already, okay.
And at
so he
first,
already
I
knew.
kind of got in my feelings. And I said,
Just a
well,
little
wait a
bit.
minute. What does that mean? But then when I really understood what he was saying, it means he can't waver from this. And so when you respect what they do, that's the first thing. You have to respect. I mean, for both of us, we respect what our husbands do. And so it's not hard for us to take a step back and hold down home front. It's not hard for us to explain to the children, daddy will be back home, because we respect our husbands, we respect what they do. And then on top of that, we're also we're side by side with them. We're in the grounds with them, working with them, and serving with them.
That's
so
good. That's really
it's
good.
important that you
have that focus.
Have that focus. You have to know what you're here to do, and a lot of times we pursue passion over purpose.
Yeah.
But you're placed here for a purpose, not for passion. Now, it's good if your passion and purpose align, but we need to focus on purpose. God created everything for a purpose, not for a passion.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. And so what would be, what's the difference though? What would be the...
Well, purpose speaks to identity. Passion speaks to what you like to do, what you're gifted at.
Okay.
And so, for instance, I may be good at doing hair, but does that mean is that the reason why God placed me here?
Wow, that's good.
So
that's
a
really
lot
good.
of times we think like, oh, I can sew those bundles in good. I know how to do that color in your hair really good, and so that's my purpose. No, you have to really seek God
for that,
for that
identity.
clarification.
That's really
Absolutely.
good. And Shay, do you have anything?
No, I agree 100% with what Katrina said. It's really just knowing that, him knowing what he's been here for, and you just supporting him along that way, and knowing that it's going to take some sacrifices, but like I said before, that sacrifice is for the greater good.
Yes. And do you guys ever get lost in that? Well, like, because I'm, eventually that is a desire of mine's marriage, but focusing on him, like focusing on, okay, well, I got to make sure my husband is good out there in these streets. I got to make sure my family is good and my kids are good. Do you ever feel like you're getting lost in that?
I feel like it's very easy to get lost in it. But I will also say, if your husband, if he's the truth, he's going to pull you back in and also make sure that you're focused on what you're supposed to be focused on.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, it's very easy to get lost. It is, just honestly speaking. But again, when you understand your purpose, and then when you have a husband such as both of ours that are very supportive of what we do, Shay is a fashion designer, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, and so we support our husbands, but they also support us as well. So there's times where I may have an engagement and my husband is at home being daddy and watching the kids, and he's calling saying, where's the baby's milk? You know?
Right, where the clothes?
Where are the clothes,
That's good.
But
That's really good.
It's about that support.
That support.
Supporting each other.
That's really good. How is your network, though, as far as that support system and making sure that you are holding each other accountable, your friendships, your family, trying to, just be accountable for the things that you are actually pursuing, and just being bold as a millennial and being an advocate in such a crisis time?
Well, for us, we have a amazing support system. Between my mom, she's always there to help out with the children whenever I need her. My in-laws, actually, I call them my in-loves. They actually moved. They had a house that was paid for. They moved where we're located at to help us.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is love, yes.
Wow.
To move and help us with the children. And then, we have, members from the church that are coming and help out when needed. But, support it takes a village. I still believe in that. It takes a village to raise kids, especially in today's time.
And we have a great support system. My mom and father are actually watching our kids right now. But like you said, it takes a village, and it's really just them understanding, what we're trying to do, what we are trying to accomplish, and being there for us.
Yeah.
That's really good. And so what are some encouraging words that you can give to those millennials, those radical millennials, and, those mothers who are really trying to make sure home is good and that, their husbands are in the community? Give us some encouragement words and something that they can do in this time of need.
I would say trust the order of God, especially if you're a wife. I know sometimes that as wives we may You may feel like, you know, you're putting your life on hold to be the wife that you need to be for your husband, but you have to trust the order that God has designed marriage to operate in.
That's really good.
And if you are really supporting your husband and you're being the helpmeet that he needs you to be, you know, God is going to allow your time to come. And I'm a witness of that. There was times when, you know, I felt like me writing a book was going to be put on hold, and it's just in God's timing that he allowed it to happen and become successful at it.
That's awesome. Shay, do you have anything?
Really just allowing God to use you in a way that he wants to use you, and just being there, being supportive of your husband, and really just communicating and make sure you all are all on the same page.
Thank you guys so much for coming on today's show. I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Girl Talk with Kaylin. I hope to see you guys next week. Please follow Kaylin Ann and the Word Network on all social media platforms. See you there.